Hello, my name is Brian, and I am a TAM here at VMware by Broadcom. Thank you for joining this TAM Lab Nano recording, where we will discuss how to use vCollector 3.0 to collect data you can share with your TAM. We have a short agenda. What is vCollector? What are the requirements? And then we'll end with a demo. What is vCollector? It is an existing script used by license management teams. It has been updated to version 3.0, which now optionally produces TAM data reports. It's delivered as a KB article attachment and can collect vSphere and NSX data. The vSphere output fields are very similar to the Health and Security Toolkit and prior TAM Data Manager output files, but without requiring a Java installation or dedicated appliance. We need PowerShell 7 or above. We need PowerCLI. PowerCLI does a really good job with backwards compatibility. In the upcoming demo, we will use VCF PowerCLI 9.0, but we'll connect to a vSphere 8 environment. Import Excel is a community module used for reading and writing Excel files without the need for a local Excel installation. If it is not present, the script will attempt to automatically install it from the PowerShell gallery. We will also need to know a support site ID from the Broadcom support portal. We'll show where to enter this value during the demo. And now we'll switch to the demo. On this machine, I have a folder with two files in it. Both of these files came from the KB article mentioned before. There's a scanlist.csv and a vCollector.ps1 PowerShell script. We'll begin by opening the scan list in Notepad or any other file editor that can edit a CSV file. In here, the default file that we download from the KB article only has a header row, and we'll need to add some values. For purposes of TAM data, the vCenter and NSX types are the only types supported. And in this sample, we've got 3 vCenters listed. In 2 of them, we list a site ID as well. In this case, I do not have a site ID, so I'm just typing in a generic number. The script is validating that a number is present, but it's not doing any sort of lookup to make sure it's accurate. In the third row, I actually have a vCenter where that required field is not present, and that's to show later on during the demo the error message that we would expect to see if that value is not provided. To check our requirements, I'm going to launch a terminal window. And when it comes up, I am going to check the PS version table to check the current version of PowerShell. We can see here that PowerShell 5.1 is present in this example, but we may remember from the requirements that PowerShell 7 is needed. So I will run pwsh to launch PowerShell 7, which has been previously installed on this machine. Just to confirm, we will run PS version table again, and we can confirm that 7.5.3 is installed. We also need to make sure that we have the PowerCLI module. There are 2 PowerCLI module names. There's VMware.PowerCLI and then VCF.PowerCLI. So we will check for the presence of star PowerCLI to look for both versions. And in this case, we can see that VCF PowerCLI 9.0 is installed. We'll also check for import Excel, which is not installed on this machine. And as mentioned before, the script will attempt to install it for us during its execution. So I'm going to move this window slightly just so we can see our folder structure there behind us. And I'm going to run vCollector.ps1. Then at the end, I will put a space -tam. By default, if we do not specify -tam, this will run in the mode that is used for the license management team. If we want the optional, more verbose data that TAMs typically ask for, we'll want to provide this TAM parameter to the script. When we continue, we'll see some version information written to the screen that will also be written to a log file later. We also see that import Excel is not installed, so it is being installed from the gallery. There's a progress bar for that. And we will attempt to connect to the first vCenter server, in this case, vc1.example.com. And it's going to begin collecting some inventory detail and storing it in a PowerShell collection, kind of in memory. The warnings that we see on screen are kind of non-issues. It's data center objects that do not contain, in this case, data stores, clusters, or hosts, and that's expected. There's a virtual nested data center object in this environment that contains no objects. And so those warnings we can safely ignore. This may take some time, depending on the size of the environment, but we can see progress is being made on the console. So we will just wait for it to complete. Once the first vCenter is completed, we'll see a successful note in the console, and then it will move to the second vCenter. In this case, the first vCenter did not prompt for credentials because I am logged into a domain joined computer and was connecting to a vCenter that also belongs to the same domain. So it was just automatically authenticated. In this case, the second vCenter requires authentication, and so it will stop and prompt me for that authentication. I'll supply username and password, and it will go on and do this for each vCenter, right? If we have 10 vCenters in the list, any one that requires authentication, it's going to stop and prompt us for that authentication. Once we get connected to this vCenter, the inventory is much smaller, so it should collect pretty quickly. And then what we'll expect is an error message that will show up on screen as it tries to prepare for that third vCenter because we did not provide the required site ID field. So we see an error here about a mandatory field that is missing. And so that's expected as well. We see on screen that our output is in this Broadcom data subfolder, and we can see that that was created here in the background in our folder structure. If we open this, we'll see 3 files. We have a collection log that's just a text-based log of the execution of our script. And then we see 1 Excel file per vCenter that was collected in our project. We can see that these are Excel files, but this machine does not have Excel installed, so we're not able to open them. However, since we installed the import Excel module, we can actually use it to read these files. So we'll go back to our PowerShell window, and we'll use import Excel or Broadcom data / VC1. We'll open a specific worksheet named VMs. And then since we're on a Windows machine, we'll just output this in a grid view. This will open what looks like Excel. We'll have all of our columns and such that we can sort, and we can scroll through here, and we can see this text. Alternatively, we could have copied this file to a machine that did have Excel and open it there. We can look through and we can see the content of this data and review the properties that are present. And after reviewing it, this is the data that your TAM would like you to share with them through Box or the support portal or any sort of file sharing service that you've agreed to. Thank you for watching this video. This concludes our demo. Thank you.